What's up, YouTube? This is Sorabel here, coming back to you guys to talk to you about my recent top cut finish in PPG's 3-box tournament on Sunday, 11/8/2020. Not to be confused with the the regional that was yesterday. I sadly could not get a spot for that. It was they didn't really have a lot going out. I think they kept out at 66, but I will be in the next one, so hopefully I can do better, or rather play there in general. What do I mean to do better? Um, but yeah, so today there was a a 3-box tournament for Phantom Rage, and I played in it. It was about, I think, 30% participants, 5 rounds. We made it to top cut. Um, I got 6th place after Swiss. Um, I decided to pilot a 40 card version as opposed to my 60 card version. I did some thinking and I talked to some people. I think so. This is the 60 card version, the one that you see on my other videos. Right here, I'll show it. Um, I played 40 cards today specifically because I think I wanted to play. I wanted to see the more impactful cards. So as opposed to drawing things like Sayford and like Kitchen and Foolish Burial Goods, which are fine cards to draw, I felt that these are probably the best 40 that I could manage to play. The biggest difference is Chaos Space is nowhere to be found. The problem I ended up having with Chaos Space in particular is that it's very difficult to resolve it in a deck that's smaller with a lower dark count. Um, it also just made side decking incredibly weird, and it wasn't like, I mean, every time I did see the card, I did win, but that was only if I had another card with it. So it ended up feeling more like its own 2-card combo that you also needed to open like Hospitality or Cleanup or World Legacy Guard Dragon, or at the very least draw into these cards off of the Chaos Space draw. I think it's really strong though, and in the future I would love to try and incorporate it again, especially if Gamma gets removed from the format. But I just chose to cut it because I felt these were the best and most consistent cards I could play. Um, so I played 3 Chamber, 3 Parlor, 1 Nurse, 3 Black Metal. These are the best starters that you got. Not necessarily Nurse, but Nurse can be a starter in some hands. Sometimes all you need is Dragon Ravine. You dump a card. If you open Nurse plus Ravine, you dump Chamber, summon Nurse, and search Hospitality. Like your combos get started there. So she's not the worst normal summon. She's definitely the worst in this deck though. Um, Double Big Dragon, the same normal package. I don't think I even need to explain all this stuff here. Black Metal Dragon and Darkness Metal Dragon. Um, I guess I should probably specifically talk about the cards that were in contention with things that I cut, right? Like Noctivision Dragon, for example, I wanted to play this card, right? Because if you see this card, your opens are just that much stronger, no matter what you decide to do. If you decide like to just end on spheres, Noctivision is spheres with a reborn card in hand or in the graveyard, or tidying set, plus a draw, right? That's kind of insane value. Just being able to pretty much go plus when making or rather not really go plus, but mitigate your losses. So that's why I wanted to play this card. This was a high impact extender. The other high impact extender was World Legacy Guard Dragon. This is probably the best reborn card next to Hospitality, for what it does for your combo. It allows you to get away with having one less dragon, and it lets you keep extenders. Also, if you open World Legacy Guard Dragon and you combo with For example, Chamber. You can use World Legacy Guard Dragon to dump Black Metal Dragon and or you can use Dragon Ravine to dump Black Metal Dragon and revive it World Legacy Guard Dragon to add Red MD to your hand and set up your Guard Dragon combo. So it just deters your opponent from using a Nibiru or like hand trapping you too hard before you essentially get to the LP just by having it. So if you can search Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon in your combo, it's really good too. I honestly wish Hospitality could reborn Black Metal Dragon, but it can't. So that's pretty much why I wanted to see these three. I mean, these three specific, or these six cards specifically. Like, if you see at least one of these in your opening hand, you're probably going to combo through just about anything your opponent throws at you. It's that powerful. Then Triple Tidying. It's the best card in a grind game. It allows you to play on your opponent's turn. And you can argue it's kind of like Orchestrated Babel for us between it and Hermetic Spheres, because you can loop your resources on your opponent's turn to deter any like +1s that they might get. Like sometimes I would summon Chamber on my opponent's turn just to search a Tidying off of Tidying by like, so I banish Tidying, summon Chamber, search a Tidying, and then return the Chamber to my hand in the end phase with the Tidying. And then when I have Dragon Ravine, I send the Tidying I surfed off of Chamber to dump anything I need in the graveyard, any of my dragons, and then I search Hospitality with that Chamber, right? So now I have 2 Reborn cards, but I also have an extra dragon in grave. So I think that little piece of interaction is very nice. The Gold Sark and 1-for-1, these were extra starters. More specifically, 1-for-1 than Gold Sark. Gold Sarcophagus is actually a very interesting card. It's not only a starter in it that by banishing Tempest you can search Parlor. It is also a go second card, because by banishing Tempest you search Lower Par. Then you can use Lower Par's effect to bait and negate. I use this to out a Paleozoic, or not Paleozoic, a Totally Awesome in my round 5 match. I drew into it off of my Noctivision draw, banished it, and then used it, banished Tempest, and searched Lorpar, and that immediately like turned off the fear of getting hit with a Toad. And so I just like overwhelmed him with like sheer card advantage after that point. His traps just weren't enough, because after that I immediately made Nightmare Phoenix, and I just popped his I believe it was a set Paleozoic Xanadia, the one that books. I popped that card. So yeah, 1-for-1 is just a 4th copy of Black Metal Dragon. It is quite literally the worst like starter I play. I probably don't even need to play it. Like, that's kind of like where I am with 1-for-1. I could get the extra 1-up spot. If I didn't have to play the Gamma package, I'd play like 3 Chaos Space, 1 baby, the other baby, right? That would be what this is. Unfortunately, I do need the Chaos Space. So I'm not sure what's another power 1-of I could side in. I think Monster Reborn is honestly more impactful, but I chose 1-for-1 because it was a starter. Honestly though, it was fine for today. It wasn't bad. It felt bad if you drew 1-for-1 and Black Metal Dragon. I mean, it feels bad when you draw Black Metal Dragon and Darkness Metal Dragon in general. So I guess it's just like the flex spot. This probably could have been an Upstart Goblin, mostly because I sided it out like every time I was sure I was going second. Like, I probably could just straight up play Upstart Goblin. I don't like playing Upstart Goblin, though, because time is kind of a factor. And my game 1, I actually went into time, and I got a draw for that, which set me back for the entire event. But I was able to, like, recover from it. So the extra deck is exactly the same as what I normally play. Nothing here changed, and I don't think nothing needs to change. I like having Phoenix and Unicorn. If you, the way I see it, if you don't make VFD going first, well, how should I put this? When you go first, your goal is to make VFD or spheres and show, depending on the matchup, right? But when you go second, right, VFD is a lot less good. But the amount of resources you have to normally commit to this play can now be used on things like a Nightmare Phoenix to pop back row, Nightmare Unicorn to deal with outs, and then setting up access code talker plays while still ending on show. So that's kind of like the game plan here. I just wanted a lot of cards that got rid of monsters my opponents control, or spells and traps that were problematic for me playing into a board. So the side deck is probably the most interesting thing I changed. I actually decided on some of these things right before the event, and it was based off of a couple of factors of what I felt I was going to play against. Triple Tactics Talent, I think, was really good today. Every time I resolved it, I pretty much won. Ripping a card out of your opponent's hand or drawing two cards can really like swing the balance of the game state in your favor. So this was good today, I would say. Monster Reborn is just another copy of these cards. So whenever I go first, I side out Gamma and Driver, and I side in these four cards just because I don't like hand traps, and I just need I would like the extra extender. Honestly, a card I'm kind of torn about is Dragonmaid Changeover. I think I want to play this card at 2. So the logic behind it is, yes, it's you only really need 1, but if you draw this card, it allows your parlor and your chamber to do a lot more. Like in your normal combo, chamber has to search hospitality, tidying, or changeover, right? If you don't have it. Parlor likewise has to do the same thing. She has to send tidying or changeover. But if you already have the changeover, what chamber and parlor do doesn't matter. In fact, it allows the two of them to combo with each other, which was the main issue they had as combo starters by themselves, is that you couldn't combo between them. If you open both chamber and parlor, that is. One, they can't search changeover and still allow you to combo. But if you drew it, they can. So this, I might try cutting 1-for-1 for the third changeover. For the second changeover. I think that would be the correct way to play. It also is just nice in matchups where my opponent like targets changeover with like a Cosmic Cyclone as I'm using it, or they DD Crow it. Just having to, like, the card fundamentally changes your hand if you draw it. It allows you to do a lot, even if it doesn't necessarily do a lot on its own. You can also discard it for Dragon Ravine, so if you draw too many, it's not necessarily bad because it floats. Back to the side deck, though. I'm sorry, that was a tangent. So I played 3 Twin Twisters and 1 Harpy Feather Duster, as opposed to 3 Lightning Storm and 1 Feather Duster. And the reason I chose to play Twin was because I don't like Winda, and you can chain Twin during the standby phase and pop the set. I believe it's Schism. That's the name of the card, Shadal Schism. So that's why I like Twin over Lightning Storm. It helps you play through that. It's also just quick play removals. It's just really strong in general. It's nice being able to deal with your opponent's cards as they set them when you go first, as opposed to like the awkwardness of playing Lightning Storm against a back row deck when you know you're going first. So Twin Twisters was really good today. I honestly can't complain. Feather Duster, I didn't see it, but I mean in theory it's good. Pankratops, I didn't see it, but like I think the general consensus is the same as like a Harpy's Feather Duster, right? If I were to end up on a board where there's a Herald and a Savage, being able to just like special Pank and deal with both of them, like with that one summon, is really strong. Especially Herald. Herald is kind of annoying. I played 3 Lancia for the Dinosaur matchup specifically, but it also just has applications in the Invoked matchup and the Dragon Link matchup, so it wasn't a bad hand trap to have. And then lastly, I think Gameciel was really good today. Kaiju in general was really strong. I didn't see any Buster Blader. Um, this is what that's primarily the reason I played this card between it and Buster Lock. But Gameciel is like being able to just get rid of the Savage fundamentally helped me break a Dragon Link board going second, even if the game still ended in a tie because we were going in a time. The Dragon Link player did his full combo. He didn't end on Buster Lock. He messed his combo up, but he still had Savage, Spheres, and Herald. So it was a really strong board regardless. And just even if he had like the Buster Lock, it wouldn't have changed anything because Gameciel outs it regardless, right? And that's what I did. Like I Gamecieled the Savage. So getting rid of the Savage allowed me to immediately just start like poking. I would say poking God in the eye, right? Because then I summoned my Red MD and after normal summoning Black Metal, and I swing into the Herald, and my opponent spheres the Red MD, putting it back in my hand, which was good because being able to get rid of the Herald definitely helped, and I still had a World Legacy Guard Dragon in my hand, so I summoned the Black Metal Dragon again, and then special summoned the Red MD, and that was pretty much it. All he had was I think it was just the Herald, because I ended up making Nightmare Unicorn and forcing it out. I can't quite remember since that was round 1, but Gameciel pretty much let me play the game. That's why I chose to play it over Dark Ruler No More, or like Droplet or anything like that. I think just the turtle is really strong, just for those tier 1 meta power plays. Aside from that, I think I would change 1-for-1. I'm not sure if I would play another Changeover though. But Changeover, like, drawing the card is really good. Like, incredibly good even. Perhaps I could play one Foolish Burial Goods doesn't really make a lot of sense. Because yes, it could be either Tidying or Changeover. But like, just by drawing Changeover, it means you can use it twice that turn. So it helps you do show in like your VFD plays. It also just helps you, like, if you were you can make show a lot earlier in your combo just by seeing Changeover. So I definitely think I might experiment with 2 Changeover as opposed to 1. That's pretty much it for the profile. Yeah, like I mean top I got 6th place, top 8, really strong deck. My matchups were round 1. I played against Dragon Link, as I said. I got a draw. We played in a time. Game 3. He starts his combo off, and he goes like he spends like 10 minutes doing his combo, and then we're like 6 minutes on the clock, and I have like 6 minutes to try and break this board, and I do break the board, right? By the end of it, he doesn't have either of the 3 negates, or well, spheres is a negate, but you know what I mean, on his board, and I have a spheres of my own, and that's it. All I have is the spheres, and I think I have I have a spheres, and I have a parlor in the graveyard. And then I spheres into Nurse special summon Parlor, dump cleanup. So when he declares battle phase, he never hits my life points, right? Because I would rather draw than lose the game. So that was pretty much how round 1 went. Round 2, I played against Dinosaur. It was a 2-1. It was kind of easy. My opponent was very inexperienced with the deck. So, then again, Miss and UCC are still incredibly strong. So, he was definitely picking up wins just because of the power of his deck. The piloting could have been a lot stronger. My round 3 opponent was also against Dinosaur. This was my 1 loss. I fumbled game 3. Not necessarily because I didn't draw well. I feared the hand trap, right? So I did a combo. I did a spheres and show combo that ended that got me show before I started my guard dragon combo, and then I went into spheres and ended on show instead of making VFD, and he had Dark Ruler no more. He didn't open a single hand trap, so I just kind of I overpsyched myself, and I definitely should have just committed to the VFD and took the Nibiru as it came. That's I guess that's more the more you know, right? Because if unless you have like genuine reason to suspect your opponent has the Nibiru, if you can't play out of it, you should just play into it. Because if your opponent doesn't have it, then you're not making a suboptimal board, right? Because I did make spheres and show, right? But it wasn't enough to stop the Dino board because of Miscellaneousaurus. Then he made Dolka before he activated Mrs. Graveyard effect, which is what I wanted to negate with show. But Dolka being able to negate twice in a turn, twice in a chain, it sucked up both my spheres and my show negate like right there. I was pretty much done. So I lost that game. Round 4 I played against Synchro Dragoon Eldritch. I 2-0'd him. Game 1 I started guard dragon plays and he immediately scooped when I revealed Trishula, and I was because I was gonna rip his extra deck, and I'm guessing he didn't want me to see what he was playing, so he just scooped up. If it was a Dragoon deck, so I probably was just gonna pick like Dragoon, get it out of there, you know. And that was pretty much it. Game 2, he went first, and he ends on Dragoon and Herald. No Eldritch cards at all. Was kind of strange, but I was like, I guess it's fine. And I was able to easily out the Dragoon by normal summoning Black Metal, not Dragoon, the Spheres, not Spheres, Herald. I normal summoned Black Metal Dragon, did the Striker Dragon play, banished Striker to summon Darkness Metal Dragon, and I just swung into the Herald, right, and got rid of it. Dragoon is still on the board, and the Dragoon negate is live. But I had so much gas in my hand, and he was staring down a Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, that I started to combo under the Dragoon negate for a very long time. I ended up getting all the way to, I believe, LP Pisty, and not LP and Pisty. I got to LP and Romulus before I activated my Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. And that's where he Dragooned me. So he negated the Dragoon and destroyed the Darkness Metal Dragon and destroyed it. And so I just had, I believe I was Hospitality, and I just reborned one of my Dragonmaids and made Pisty, and that was the full combo. And I got all the way to Spheres and Show, and as I was ending my turn, he reveals the Nibiru, and he just blanks my board. I had Show on board, so I thought about it, right? Do I negate the Nibiru? Because if I do, he keeps the Dragoon, I lose Show, which means I can't get rid of the Dragoon with Spheres. So I just eat the Nibiru, right? I lose Spheres and I lose Show, and he loses Dragoon, and he gives me a super big Nibiru token. I summon Chamber off of Spheres, and I just pass turn, right? It's just Chamber, Nibiru token. My opponent has no cards in hand, and the Nibiru. He draws for turn. It's dead. He goes to battle phase. I summon Show, and he scoops. So that was pretty good. He saw no Eldritch cards. I think that really determined the matchup. Anyways, last round I played against Paleozoic Frogs. That was strange. Game 1, he won the die roll. I just had so much gas that I just lit the entire board up, right? Like what I said earlier, if you're going second, you don't really need calamities. So all the resources you would put into making calamities, you just put into good cards for breaking boards like Phoenix and Unicorn. So I was popping back row, spinning other back row, and then by the time I got to my battle phase, I had access code and lore part, and I just swung for game. He had a toad, and like none of it mattered. I just had so many resources to work with. Game two, he takes game two. Just he just outgrinded me better, and I drew horribly. I think I opened double imperm, Tempest, Hospitality, and Changeover, which is a completely unplayable hand. Um, I drew into Nurse for turn. My mistake was I should have just naked fusion summoned Dragonmaid show, because at that point like I would have been like my advantage engine would have been going right. But I linked off for Striker Dragon first, just so that I could have the extra body to attack Link Karibo, because he had a Link Karibo. He summoned Absolute Backjack, linked it off for Link Karibo and used its effect. So all he had was Link Karibo, and I wanted to get rid of the Karibo, and so that way Sho could attack directly for 3,500. But that just didn't work out. He ashed the Hospitality, which was the correct play there, because he knew I had bricked and he didn't really have much to worry about. So I was just stuck on a Striker Dragon that couldn't do anything. And then in the end, he compulsed it anyway, which was super bad. So I lost that game. And then game three, we played super close. I went first, and I ended on a board of Spheres and Show, with, I believe, Twin Twisters set. And that was kind of the game, because during my draw phase, during his draw phase, his standby phase, I make Nurse and Parlor dump Hospitality, and we're playing in a time at this point, and he tries to, I guess, poke God in the eye, by attacking my spheres with a Dupe Frog, and I just tribute my spheres, and I bounce World Legacy Guard Dragon back to my hand. I don't even bother the Dupe Frog, and then I summon Nurse effect, summon Parlor effect, dump Lorpar effect. Not Lorpar, Parlor effect, special summon Lorpar, right? And he can't beat over anything because he was trying to bait out spheres. And then during the end phase, during the main phase too, I return Lorpar to my hand and summon back Parlor, and he makes Toad. And he realized very quickly at the start of my turn, right, that I'm just going to Lorpar the Toad negate. Like, it. And so I ended up just winning the game right there. Lorpar was definitely, I would say, was the MVP today. This card's insane. Sadly, I don't think I would play more than one copy of it. It's bricky. Not in the good way. Like, if you draw it, it changes the way your hand plays, like Changeover. It's super bricky, but it's super strong. And the fact that I technically do play two of it, Gold Sark is a go second card. If you open a starter and you open Gold Sark, Lorpar can help you break Gold Sark, and to Lorpar can help you break the board. So that was pretty much it for the profile. We did not play out Top Cut, sadly. Majority just wanted to go home, which is fine. I understand. It was kind of storming today, heavy rain. I had a lot of fun. I definitely liked this build. As far as my hand traps, I forgot to mention that. I chose Ash over any other hand trap just because I was worried I was going to play against like some weird shit like zombies or like other like rogue decks that like Pot of Extravagance and like stuff like that. It hits more, and like Zodiac being able to Ash the Tenki can like stop their whole like setup if they can't get a monster. So I played that. Gamma was okay. I don't think I resolved him at all today. Imperm was as good as always. Ash was alright. Yeah. Lancia, I didn't see Lancia at all today. Like, every time I played it, I never like drew it. So that sucks. That's why I struggled so hard against Dinos. Anyways, that's gonna be the video. I hope the audio on this isn't too loud. But I guess we'll find out. Thanks a lot. Shout out to the DB Grinder. I met him today. Awesome guy. He signed one of my house Dragonmaids. That was pretty exciting. I got to show him my deck, and he liked it. Said it was pretty cool. I wish I got to play on stream, just to show more people. Sadly, I did not get to make it on stream. But I mean, maybe if we had played out Top Cut, I suppose I would have found my way to stream eventually. But until next time, take care, guys.